3-point stance?
3-point stance.
I don't know. Anyway, welcome to the BSI Comics Podcast. I'm Adam.
I'm Fletch.
And we're here to talk about comics and news and stuff like that. Real high energy stuff.
You might hear some noise in the background. We have our monthly drink and draw event going on, which you might know about, you might not if you're an artist.
Why don't you tell people what drink and draw is? Because we didn't start it.
That's what I was doing exactly before you stopped me.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were going to move on.
Nope.
We don't plan this.
Anyway, if you're a local writer, artist, or
3-point stance,
anything creative, you want to come hang out, be inspired, be around like-minded individuals, we have a group that gets together and we drink and draw and talk.
It's a national thing. You can usually Google it or go on Facebook. There's different groups.
Mm-hmm.
If you live in a major city, there's probably one near you somewhere.
It's a good time. It's always here. It's always the first Thursday of the month.
Here at BSI Comics in Metro, Louisiana. There's actually, I think, 3 drink and draw groups.
Is that a Foley Pop? Right here at BSI Comics in Metro, Louisiana.
No, not at all. Anyway,
moving on.
If you want to look up drink and draw, or if you want to come on by, we just actually got a new person today.
Or just ask me about it when you come in.
Yes. Come on in. All right, so let's talk about some other stuff.
What's going on?
So, CBS had announced a while ago that we're going to put out a new Star Trek show.
That's awesome. People have been clamoring for that.
Clamoring?
Yep.
Not oystering? Anyway, so the weird thing about Star Trek is that it's now separated into 2 entities. Paramount owns the movies, and then CBS owns the TV show, which is super confusing.
And the fans can't make anything.
Well...
That's a joke from another time. Just go on.
Right. So it's a little confusing, but the good thing is that it allows Paramount to do the new universe movies and allows CBS to play in the original universe. But of course, obviously, the original cast of Star Trek is pretty old. Many of them are dead, so it's not like they're going to show up.
But it's kind of like Star Wars in the fact that there's so many different timelines. They don't intersect with each other. It's okay.
Is that like Star Wars?
Yeah.
All right, sure. I don't recall that part of Star Wars. Anyway, so
they had the Clone Wars stuff. Then you had the prequels.
That's all sort of canon, though.
I guess.
I mean, I don't like the prequels, and I don't think it fits in. But the
what I'm saying
Wars
is,
stuff
Star Wars TV shows don't mess up the. Go
there
on.
you go. Anyway. So the deal with CBS is that they announced that. All right, so every network's trying to do their own streaming service now.
Right.
Everybody wants a piece of that Netflix money or Hulu money. Obviously, Netflix is a little bigger than Hulu, but whatever. This is actually more applicable to the concept of Hulu because CBS's streaming service is actually going to have commercials. But it's not free at all, whereas Hulu has a base package where you can watch certain shows if they came out recently and certain super old shows for free. I'm not positive, but I don't think the CBS service is going to have that. In any case, they announced that the Star Trek show absolutely wouldn't, it's going to be part of the pay service,
right?
But it's going to have commercials. So people flipped out because the only reason that anyone's going to buy the streaming service is for Star Trek.
Right.
They don't really care. I mean, I'm sure it'll have other programming. It'll have older shows and what have you.
But the main reason a Star Trek fan is going to pay for this is to watch the Star Trek show.
Because it's the most notable thing they have coming out on.
Which will also have commercials that you don't want if you're paying for it.
So people flipped out, and so CBS relented and said, all right, if you pay a higher rate than you're already paying, you can get it without commercials. I don't see this working in the long run. I think this is going to lead to people illegally downloading
People are just
going to
download it and it's going to get canceled.
Yeah. I understand, corporations wanting to get on this bandwagon, but people who don't innovate and get greedy off of other people's innovations don't necessarily always succeed. So I just don't see this working in the long run, especially if they're going to have to announce a lot of great content for people to get on board with. Because people really only want 1 or 2 of these things. Right. You got your Netflix or you got your Amazon Prime. A lot of people have Amazon Prime because they're Amazon Prime subscribers as far as actually buying
Mm-hmm.
things, and it's a nice little add-on, like you can watch movies and stuff. They're not going to want to go outside of that and spend even more money just to get one or two shows. So it's interesting. I'm curious to see where this goes. Obviously, Star Trek, it's got a great showrunner, Brian Fuller. He was on, Wonder Falls? What's that show about the girl that died that like brought people back to life?
The Ghost Whisperer?
No.
That show is
No, that's a show about a
awesome.
girl who's dead inside. Anyway. But Brian Fuller is a great showrunner, so a lot of people are excited about it. And hopefully CBS uses a little common sense and makes it a little more accessible to people.
Why
Even
not
if
make
it's
it
just one or two
accessible and get
episodes.
people like hooked on it, and let them know that you're putting out a good product first, and then move on to selling it to a Netflix or doing something like that?
Because they want their own service.
I get it. Just,
Moving on, so I saw this. This isn't news exactly. I just find it funny. The new regime over at DC Film, because it's largely the same people. It's just like one or two people got promoted, but they were already involved in
Right.
making the films, such as Jeff Johns. Because people make it sound like, oh, Jeff Johns is taking over. Jeff Johns was always in charge of this stuff. He was the chief creative officer of DC Entertainment. He was absolutely partially in charge of these movies. But one of the producers, Jon Berg, made a statement that for the new Justice League movie, they've decided to accelerate the hope and optimism that eventually they were going to get to anyway.
a more ridiculous statement could not have come out of your mouth.
No, the thing that bugs me is,
What's wrong with you? You don't want to be depressed? What's wrong with you people?
well, if you're going to make a movie that's a certain tone, whether people agree with it or disagree with it, that's fine. But what bugs me is treating your customers like they're stupid.
Right.
Oh, no, that's not what you think we were doing that? We weren't doing that. Come on.
My whole argument with the DC stuff has been that whereas I feel, in my opinion, that Marvel is more of a, oh, that's what you want? Cool, we're going to give you what you want. Whereas I feel like DC is, oh, that's what you want? You don't know what you want. Let me show you what you want.
See, I'd argue the opposite. I
Really?
think Marvel works with what's best for the characters, and that's what people ultimately want. I think Warner Brothers and DC make decisions and we're going to tell you what you want. You don't know what you want.
Right.
So it's I often in comics you see this when comics. All right.
Don't mind me.
I thought you were gonna walk by.
Really?
All right.
You say worse than that, I'm sure.
No, we'll have to cut that.
The finger of Derek Donovan does not affect the attitudes of the BSI Comics employees. Derek Donovan, finger
One
of
love.
service, everyone.
Cut.
I'm not cutting that out. That's not my fault. So what was I even saying?
Warner Brothers shoving it down your throat.
Right. So even with comics, I find that when creators try to either force something down the audience's throat, or try to appease an audience, it never turns out well.
It's true in anything. It's true in comics, too. We've seen this where they keep trying to shove this diversity and all this stuff, and some people, they just don't want it, You can't make someone...
I want everything homogenous.
Fair enough.
Anyway.
I'm a big fan of pasteurization. It's all good.
Yeah. So, it's not really news. It's just something funny that
It's funny.
I also now, and I've said, I believe we discussed the trailer a couple of weeks ago. The trailer looks okay. It doesn't look like it's my cup of tea, but I'm a lot more willing to see this than I was Batman vs Superman. It doesn't necessarily look like Justice League, but it doesn't look horrendous.
Make the movie you want to make, but don't make something and say, well, we're doing this because you wanted it, so if it fails, it's your fault.
Oh, that's going to happen.
Right.
Look at Ghostbusters. Anyway, so 2 bits of comics news. There's a new preview for the upcoming Jessica Jones comic book. And it's by the original creators, Brian Michael Bendis and Michael Gaydos.
Michael Gyarados.
Is that how it's pronounced? I don't know where you're going with this. Michael
That was
Gaydos.
a Pokemon joke, but
Oh, I don't play Pokemon.
we know.
Michael Gaydos. I don't even know what you mean by that. It looks pretty cool. I was very excited to see that they did not do what a lot of Marvel comics have done in light of the movies and TV shows, which is start like redesigning the character
Right.
to fit the television show. They're two separate entities. Don't make her look like Kristen Ritter. She never did. For one thing, she was always meant to be drawn as like a normal woman, meaning she gained a little weight over the years. She's not fat exactly. She's not Hollywood actress skinny such as
Right.
Kristen Ritter. Not that that's really an issue of mine, but I just don't like it when you start making the comics try to reflect the multimedia.
Right.
When the multimedia was trying to reflect the comics. It's a weird like mirror effect. Anyway, looks pretty cool. They changed the name. It used to be called Alias, but they still wanted to reflect the show so that new readers come in and it's really new reader friendly. I'm not really sure when that's coming out, but I'm assuming soon because it was in previews.
Yeah, it's coming out soon.
So probably like 2 months, I would guess, if it's in previews right now.
I think it's October.
Oh, is it October? Okay, well. So check that out if you're a fan of the TV show, Netflix show. It's not really the same. They're both good.
Same basic principle.
Yeah, but the characters are a little bit different in the comic, and I actually prefer the comic to the TV show. So I know we never got around to discussing that show. Last bit of news that I have offhand is that they've announced over in the Hollywood Reporter, because DC and Marvel love to go to like big media outlets who don't really care about comics. They've announced that there's going to be a new comic, I believe in the beginning of the year, beginning of next year, or maybe it's December. I can't remember exactly. Called Supergirl Being Super, which is going to explore Supergirl's first days on Earth. What's interesting is that they never quite explain whether it's the TV show Supergirl, because that just got renewed on the CW, or I guess it technically transferred to the CW for its season 2, or if it's the comic version, which we actually just got a new first issue.
Which has actually kind of been rebirthed to be more like the TV show. So
Really?
Mhm.
Okay. Well, and that might be why they haven't specified. It might be that they're trying to sort of streamline both versions so that they're at least roughly similar. Obviously, there's going to be differences. There has to be.
Right.
I mean, the Supergirl that you read in the comic books exists in a larger DC universe, whereas the Supergirl that's going to be in the TV show is now going to be part of the Arrowverse, which is also a larger universe, but still far more contained than a universe that has like Metal Man and Shade the Changing Man. So, but it looks interesting. It's obviously designed for new readers, particularly young girls. The writer, whose name escapes me, Marika something, was talking about how she really wanted to explore what it's like to be a 16-year-old girl in a new environment. Obviously, that's not for
you can
grown men. I'm sure you know what it's like to be a 16-year-old girl. I think that's all. Do you have any news that you want to talk about?
Nope.
All right.
we hit it.
Why don't we recommend a couple things?
Why don't we? What would you like to recommend to these fine people?
I was going to let you go first.
I will go first then. This is Kill or Be Killed, new Image book. Brubaker, Sean Phillips, pretty good team. I'm sure you're familiar with some of their other stuff. Is it both of them that was doing the Fade Out?
The Fade? Oh, it sounds familiar, but I didn't read it.
Okay. So basically...
to be fair, Brubaker and Phillips are longtime collaborators. About 15 years now. I think they started with Sleeper, which was a Wildstorm book.
So the second issue just came out. I actually just read both of them. Basic premise is there's just kind of a normal guy having normal guy problems.
Feeling like a 16-year-old girl.
He's trapped inside. No. He's basically in love with his roommate or friend's girlfriend, and basic stuff keeps happening. And then towards the end, I guess it's not really a spoiler, but this kind of demon appears and he basically tells him, like, you're going to have to go murder some people or you're going to be next. And he doesn't believe that it's real. He's like, oh, man, I must be seeing things. And the demon just snaps his arm, and he wakes up with a broken arm. So the demon reappears, and he's basically like, you got one more day, figure it out, or it's you. So he's kind of coming to terms with, am I really crazy?
Check out the book to find out the rest of what happens, like the last 3 pages of issue 1. I'm just messing with it.
I know. Really cool premise, kind of along the lines of Moon Knight, like what's real, what's not real, what decisions need to be made.
You really love that Moon Knight.
Moon Knight's the best book out right now, hands down.
All right.
So yeah, it's pretty cool. Check it out. They've been, like you said, longtime collaborators. Pretty solid. Definitely outside of mainstream kind of stuff. So if you're looking for something like that, it's a very Image title.
Right on.
So, what do you have? Assumably not from Image, because that's what I picked.
Actually, it is from Image.
Oh, that's crazy.
There's a lot of things that I could have recommended this week. If you want to go look on the BSI Comics website, bsicomics.com, there's actually a new review that I made of Neil Gaiman's How to Talk to Girl at Parties, How to Talk to Girls, How to Speak on a Webcast on YouTube with English.
Podcast.
God. Anyway, How to Talk to Girls at Parties, a new book by Neil Gaiman with artists Fabio Moon and Gabriel Ba, who did the fantastic graphic novel Day Tripper, which you should also check out. But that's not what I'm recommending. I mean, I kind of am, but anyway. So I think I've been already recommended Injection Volume 1. Can't really read the print on the camera, but I think that's backwards. I don't know if it'll fix. Anyway, Injection by Warren Ellis, Declan Shalvey, and Jordi Belair. Fantastic book. If you haven't read Volume 1, you should. It's about some different types of educated people. Some educated in the more esoteric realms, mysticism, what have you. Mostly educated in different types of sciences, such as archaeology, technology, and what have you. They all get together in a think tank, and they invent something scary that sort of infests the world, but not like a plague kind of way, more like creating a demon sort of thing. Really interesting book. It actually does sort of do the what's real and what's not real thing, because the thing that they create sort of haunts them. Mm-hmm. So other people just see weird things happening and they don't know what's going on. Also, a really cool premise.
Probably the most consistent thing that Warren Ellis has done of late.
Still mad about that Karnak, huh?
No, it's not so much Karnak as Karnak, trees, Moon Knight, everything. Everything else.
He only intended to do 5 issues of Moon Knight and they all came out on time.
Fair enough.
Anyway, but I do agree with you on trees. I gave up on trees quickly. I love Warren Ellis, but not everything he does is up to snuff. So some things are better as ideas than they are as reality. But anyway, so that's 2 books for you: Kill or Be Killed and Injection. Kill or Be Killed just came out as a new ongoing. Injection is both an ongoing and there are 2 trades out. So pretty cheap. I think this one's, is it 15 or 20? This is 15.
It's Image, so the first one will be 10, the second will be 15.
Right. I think the first one might have been 15. It's the same amount of issues, but
right,
you might be right. It might be 10. In any case, not too much to spend to try something cool and interesting. I think that's about all we have for you this week. Thank you to everyone who came out for our Ladies' Night event over at BSI Comics, and we're hoping to have one. We don't know exactly when. We don't actually plan these things out in advance. Probably in a few months, though.
Yep. Thanks to all the sponsors. We had a lot of people give cool prizes. It went really, really well. Super successful. If you got on the mailing list, we'll be sending out a newsletter soon.
Newsletter?
Yeah.
I've never heard of such a thing. Anyway, also, if you're not familiar, if you are in the New Orleans and Metairie area, we do have a monthly workshop event. This month's is going to be
Marshmallow Guns.
Marshmallow Guns, yeah. This will probably be out before Saturday, so if you are in the Metairie area. It's a family-friendly event. It's totally free. Come on by. Maybe buy a comic. Maybe not. Maybe just bring the kids. And,
Shoot some plastic cups with marshmallows.
yeah.
It's a good time.
Throw things at the owner.
I'm not the owner.
Mostly marshmallows. Maybe a kid. Anyway, so I've been your host, Adam.
I've been Fletch.
And read more comics?
Definitely read more comics.
Okay, and I did not give the finger. That was Derek Donovan.